taking the control tabs close the screen isn't gonna be out. Because there's that type of stupid shit. Like this and that.
This is a table. If I send this for analysis, I might find out what was on fire on the table. This is where the deceased's corpse was. If his blood stain is his blood, then... Yes, the injury was on his left wrist. From the position of the blood stain, it would appear he was lying face up on the bed. There was only the one blood stain, so he didn't move around much after his wrist was slit. If this truly is a suicide, that would mean that he bled to death here. However, the amount of hemorrhaging here seems to be too small for a man to completely bleed out. It's the ceiling fan. There's a speed selector and a timer. The electrician had supposedly come to fix the air. I need to review his testimony to confirm what he actually fixed.
Okay. That's dumb.
Right, yes.
Okay.
This is a blood stain. One moment, please. I did some quick calculations. A stain of that size would take about 800 milliliters of blood.
The average adult male would have to lose at least 1,500 milliliters in order to bleed to death. This means that... Well, the amount of blood loss required varies from person to person, so this isn't quite proof. It is unusual, though. I'll have to remember it. This does raise some doubts. The electrician supposedly came to the victim's room to fix his air, but he didn't repair the ceiling fan? Or did the fan break after the electrician had left? In any case, I'll need to hear his account again. The deceased's friend? I see. I was so caught up in the case that I didn't check the man's background. Hello, little guy. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. Did you need something, Dr. Kimishima?
Yes. Can you do me a favor and look into the deceased's friends? I'm going to send you a picture right now. Try getting a hold on whoever that is.
All right. Is there anything in particular you'd like us to find out?
Let's see. First, about the deceased himself. It'd be great to find out more about the day of the incident.
All right. I'll make preparations to have them questioned. I'll send you the recordings of their answers, so please check the recorder.
Good. I'm glad you can get on this so quickly. I'll be counting on you.
Yes,
You fixed the heater. Something about that seems odd.
Because he keeps doing.
Yes, the deceased's neighbor mentioned that. Summer is already starting. And yet, on the day of the incident, the deceased wanted to have his heater repaired? There's something strange about this after all.
What you want, man? Why are you calling me out here? Huh? You want to talk about Dennis and I can. That guy, huh? No, nothing. He's a friend of mine, you know? I don't hate him. We've been drinking together the night before he died, after all. He just seemed pretty flush recently, if you know what I mean. He called me up out of the blue and said he'd pick up the tab that night. That wasn't really important. It was just how he normally brags. He was all proud of this red Portland Jacks t-shirt he was wearing, too.
A Portland Jacks t-shirt. If he was telling the truth, the victim was wearing that shirt on the day of the incident. In any case, after hearing this testimony, it seems hard to believe that the deceased would have committed suicide. That reminds me, the man said in his interview that the deceased had a girlfriend. I wonder if HQ knows who she is. This is worth asking Lil Guy about.
Yes, did you call Dr. Kimishima?
I need you to look into somebody for me. A woman named Stella Abbott.
Oh, the deceased's girlfriend? Well, technically his ex.
That doesn't matter. Can you find her?
We already have. HQ's just finished questioning her. Oh, should I send you the recording?
Please. Now, if you don't mind. I feel like I'm getting closer to understanding who Dennis Taylor really is. I still have doubts. My main concern about this is... Yes, fans circulate air within a room. Why then would the electrician fix only the heater and not the ceiling fan? That reminds me. Someone mentioned the clothing that the deceased was wearing on the day of the incident. That's odd. There's nothing that stands out about the clothing. Somebody said something about what the deceased had been wearing that day. Something about this shirt is bothering me. That's right. The deceased was apparently wearing a red t-shirt on the day of the incident. Did he change after he got home? Or was there some reason for changing his shirt?
Dr. Kimishima, did you receive the voice data?
From the deceased's girlfriend? Have you sent it?
You should be able to listen to it using a recorder. Please listen to it when you can.
Right. First, I want to know about the deceased's source of income.
It did seem fairly well off for somebody without a steady job.
Indeed. I'll be listening for that while I'm going over the recording.
Seriously? What do you guys want? I've got work to do, so let's get this over with. Huh? Dennis? Dennis Taylor? Wow, that name brings back bad memories. We broke up years ago. Yeah, at first I thought he was an interesting guy, pretty cool and all, but he never had a job and he just kind of wandered through life. Oh, but he always had money. I'm sure he didn't come by it honestly. Are you really this slow? Don't you get it? Drugs. He was a drug dealer.
Good heavens. The deceased's been holding on to quite a secret. I'm going to have to change the way I approach this case. Let's go through the information we have, now that we know the deceased's true identity. Unbelievable. The deceased had this hidden dark side to him.
This is looking more and more like a case worth investigating. If Dennis Taylor was a drug dealer, then there could be a variety of reasons to kill him.
Still, I can't let my prejudices cloud the truth. I need to remain objective. However, it seems that we're going to have to change our views regarding this case.
Right. I'll prepare the CSI's ALS.
ALS, the advanced light source that can adjust the wavelength being emitted?
That's right. An object's visibility depends on the light being reflected from that object. The ALS lets you select a particular wavelength to focus only on what you want to see.
Or hide what you don't want to see.
Oh, no.
I'll try using it. Thanks,
I
Olga.
don't know if you want to. Okay. ALS in the now. The ALS laser is useful for examining scenes. Till the control stick level zoomed in. As they use it, the ALS can help reveal clues not visible to the human eye as the violet tool. Like this.
There's white powder scattered on the floor. It looks like there are footprints in it. I can guess at what this powder is, but I should send it in for analysis just in case. This powder on the floor seems to trail behind the shelf. Bingo. There's more of that powder inside this hole in the wall. What an obvious place for a hiding spot. Mr. Taylor wasn't all that clever.
Okay. Third Dr. Mel's the forensics. You have to beat Vex stage 1 in order to get the opportunity to. It's kind of silly.
Dr. Kimishima, about that white powder that was spread on the floor, there were traces of drugs found in it. A number of different sets of footprints were identified in that powder as well. They all belong to the firefighters, police, and you, of course.
I see. That means...
Yeah, for the
That's careless. Exactly. That would be the case. The room belonged to the deceased. If the drugs had been spread on the floor before the incident, his footprints should be there as well. But the only footprints in the room were from people who had entered after the fire. This would mean that the drugs would have to have been spread before or soon after the fire began. All right, let's go over the information we've gathered. First, the white powder.
These answers are just silly.
Yes, a trail of drugs led directly to the hole behind the shelf. If the same powder from the floor was inside the hole, then...
A large mouse hole, because it just keep it out.
That's right. But there weren't any drugs inside the hole. The layer of drugs had footprints from the firefighters, the police, and me left in them. All of the footprints had something in common. Indeed. There weren't any footprints from before the time the fire began. So from this, we can deduce that the drugs must have been scattered on the floor when... How could I do that? I can't mess around anymore. It's time to get serious.
Yeah, I can monkey around.
Yes. If I take this even further, I'd say that it would have been after Mr. Taylor stopped moving. In other words, it must have happened between his death and when the fire started. But why were there drugs on the floor? I can't make any more rash decisions. I need to think cautiously. I can't mess around anymore. It's time to get serious.
Strongly evidence.
Yes, they must have spilled out when someone removed the drugs from the hole in the wall. Dennis Taylor was killed, and someone walked out with the drugs. I'm starting to get a clearer picture of what happened here, but there's no proof.
Who killed him to take his drugs?
I need to move on to the next step. I should
But
consult
why?
Laura
Why did the
about
killer
this.
want his drugs?
Dr. Kimishima, have you confirmed that it's a murder after all?
I don't know how you heard about that so quickly, little guy. Have you been eavesdropping on me?
No,
Forget it. I can see right through you.
oh, right, I have a new tool for you. It's luminol. Do I need to explain it to you?
A chemiluminescent material based on reducing 5-nitrophenol hydrazide with sodium dicyanide. It reacts to iron and hemoglobin by glowing, making it useful to find otherwise hidden bloodstains. Anything else?
No.
Good. I just spray this onto suspicious areas and shine the ALS on it, right? I'm sure it will be useful. Thank you, little guy. It's true then. This does have to do with the victim, but I wonder why. I get the feeling that there's something very wrong about this. I can't make any more rash decisions. I need to think cautiously.
Solid evidence.
Indeed. At first glance, it doesn't seem like he's referred to the same person at all. On the one hand, drug-dealing scum enjoying his life. On the other, a man with suicidal depression. Either one of these clues is false, or there's more of this shady business that I haven't found out. In either case, the truth of the matter is that he was indeed a drug dealer.
Most reaction spray is used for examining a crime scene. Totally controls the weight of the timber and use it after using the shiny and that's to go their stain. Triggers on the Okay.
So there were bloodstains here too. If these are from the deceased, we may be able to use this with something else that we know. There's a rope wrapped around the shaft of the ceiling fan. There's no mistake. Those are bloodstains. Huh. There's a reaction to blood on the screw that's securing the doorknob. The screw seems rather loose as well. Come to think of it, the door to this room was chained shut when the fire started. Could this be related to that in some way?
Okay, so we got some more.
Oh, Dr. Kimishima, sorry for the wait. The analysis of the murder material has come back from the laboratory. Calcium hydroxide was detected in the sample.
Calcium hydroxide? You mean slaked lime?
Yes, small amounts of quicklime were also detected. Quicklime is a substance that releases a great deal of heat when it reacts with water.
Oh, I see. So this was, I can't make any more rash decisions. I need to think cautiously.
Isn't it odd? If the killer wanted to start a fire, there are far easier ways to go about it.
You're right. There must have been a reason for this. It's our job to investigate that, isn't it? Yes, these two pieces can be combined into one. The rope wrapped around the ceiling fan is what caused it to break. The question now is why there was a rope around it in the first place. The fire began near the fallen table. Calcium hydroxide was found in the substance on the floor there. Calcium hydroxide is formed through the reaction of quicklime and water. That reaction creates something else as well. I can't make any more rash decisions. I need to think cautiously. Yes. Quicklime releases 65 kilojoules of energy per mole when it reacts with water. This was the method used to start the fire in this room. First, you would place a glass of water on the table. You would also put quicklime around the floor and on the table near the glass. When the table falls over, the hydration heat caused
Oh,
by
I
the
guess
reaction
he put the
causes fire.
rope around one of the shaft and another on one of the legs. And when the fan turned on, it would make the rope go up and knock the table over.
Why would the
And
killer go through such? I can't make any more rash decisions. I need to think cautiously. That's right. If all he wanted was a fire, he could have just set something on fire. The killer needed to have a delay until the fire began. That's why he devised a plan that made use of two components. I can't make any more rash decisions. I need to think cautiously. Yes, this trick relied on a ceiling fan and a rope. The killer wrapped one end of the rope around the fan and tied the other to a table leg. When the fan activated according to its timer, the fan wound the rope up, flipping the table over and spilling the water onto the quicklime. However, there's still one basic question left to be asked. Why did the killer have to set the room on fire in the first place? Why go through this extravagant setup to make it happen? The reason for that is, I can't make any more rash decisions. I need to think cautiously. Exactly. Due to the fact that there was nothing flammable added to the body itself, the culprit never intended for the corpse and the evidence to be destroyed in the fire. Instead, the killer wanted to cause a commotion that would draw attention to the corpse. Now then, why would that be? I can't make any more rash decisions. I need to think cautiously. By delaying the start of the fire, the plan was to have enough time to create a viable alibi for when the fire began. It's easy. I mean, with this method of misdirection, the culprit could start a fire hours after having left the crime scene entirely.
solid evidence.
This
What's this? Just looks like a loose screw to me.
Think harder, little guy. How was the room when the firefighters arrived at the scene? The entrance was closed, but was it completely inaccessible? I can't make any more rash decisions. I need to think cautiously. That's right. The chain on the door had been attached, but the door itself wasn't locked.
Sorry, but the door only opens about 15 centimeters with the chain attached. I don't even think a small child could get through a space that small.
You're so unimaginative. Flex your mind and think about it. Listen to me. What I'm trying to tell you is, I can't make any more rash decisions. I need to think cautiously.
Because if he used directed explosives, he would not only destroy the door, he would destroy the building and kill himself in the process. Different entrance, the only other entrance is the fire escape, and that's on the end of that ladder. It's up above the ground, that way you can't just climb back up that and break through, come kick in. It's screwed up to the hinges, you can't come kick it down. You can't kick a door down.
This loose screw tells us everything. With the screw removed, the entire plate on the door can be swiveled around by the doorknob. The plate itself is about 20 centimeters long, so the gap increases to almost 35 centimeters. How big does somebody have to be that he couldn't fit through a space that size?
I see now. That's more than enough room to get past the door. So the killer just screwed the plate back on from the outside after he left the room then.
I think that's the most likely explanation. But the killer was in plain sight once he was outside the door. He wanted to finish quickly. The killer couldn't completely tighten the screw and left the area as we found it.
Yeah, well you could, but then you hear that.
Wow. That proves that this isn't quite the locked room mystery we thought it was.
Still, this doesn't help us figure out who the killer is. I need to investigate the situation in more detail. That's right. There were 2 different bloodstains left in the deceased's room. Now, which of these bloodstains happened first? I can't make any more rash decisions. I need to think cautiously. That's true. Unless the corpse got up and walked over by itself, it's most likely that the deceased died where the first bloodstains were found, and then was carried to the bed afterwards. That would explain why there was such a small amount of blood on the bed itself.
Dr. Kimishima, we've identified the blood on the screw. It's a DNA match with the victim, Dennis Taylor. Why would his blood be there of all places?
It's simple. What happened was, I can't make any more rash decisions. I need to think cautiously. That's right. It's probably because he touched the murder weapon.
Wait, why would the killer touch that screw with the murder weapon?
He would have to, if the weapon was, I can't make any more rash decisions. I need to think cautiously. Yes, a screwdriver. It was likely used to both loosen and tighten that screw.
I see. And the screwdriver left the blood on the screw while he was covering his tracks.
Yes, these pieces of information are hiding an important fact. I didn't notice because the bleeding had stopped completely, but this isn't a bruise. It's a stab wound. This strange pattern here is likely, I can't make any more rash decisions. I need to think cautiously. Yes, that's right. It's indisputable evidence that the weapon was jammed in so deeply that the grip left a bruise. Yes. These do lead the way to a definite truth. Looking at the location of the bruise, the tip of the screwdriver must have pierced Dennis's lung. His lung would then rupture, causing pulmonary emphysema, and he would have suffocated. This explains the spots of hemorrhaging in the corpse's eyes. What actually happened that day is slowly coming to light now.
Yeah.
Yes, these two can tell us how the murder happened. On the day of the incident, the killer came to the victim's room and stabbed him in the torso. The murder weapon was, I can't make any more rash decisions. I need to think cautiously. Yes, the screwdriver pierced the victim's lung, causing pulmonary emphysema. This caused respiratory problems due to lung failure. Thus, the cause of death was, I can't make any more rash decisions. I need to think cautiously. After this, the killer moved the victim to the bed. This is most likely because I can't make any more rash decisions. I need to think cautiously. Indeed. The murderer then arranged the corpse to make the death appear to be a suicide. That is what I believe took place, according to the evidence we have gathered.